I'm always upgrading my smart home. Which is why in this video, we're going to talk about 8 ways you can upgrade your Apple smart home this summer. But first, I need to get off the floor. So starting with number 1 on my list, it's great to add a smart button to your home, and I've talked all about putting those on walls, but what if you could just add like 12 buttons to your home all at once? And that's where the Third Reality keyboard comes in. If you spend any time of your day at a desk with a computer, then this can be a really great way to control the lights in that particular room or other smart home stuff around your house. Because the Third Reality Mark I is a great Matter compatible keyboard, and then it exposes the upper function keys as Matter buttons. So you hold down the FN key and then select one of those, and it will trigger a smart home command as a Matter button inside of, in my case, Apple Home. But because it's a mechanical keyboard, you can put your own keycaps there and maybe have some keycaps that jog your memory about what individual keys up there do. You could also program this keyboard with VIA. The sky's the limit with this keyboard, and I'm always trying lots of different desk setups here, but I keep coming back to this keyboard just because having those quick commands to control my lights in my office is really handy to have right there on the keyboard. And for another great way to upgrade your smart home, cheers. This is just water, by the way. But as the summer heats up, you'll need to cool down, and that means some cold ice in your drink, which is where today's sponsor, Govee, comes in. The Govee Life 717D ice maker can take your ice game to the next level. It can make 9 bullet-shaped ice cubes in as little as 6 minutes with options for 3 different size ice bullets. The container can hold up to 1.5 pounds of ice, which means you should be ready for having friends over and not running out of ice. There's also an ice scooper that attaches to the side with magnets so you won't lose it. Plus, you can set up a schedule for when it makes ice. This means you can have ice ready when you want it, but you won't be getting a mountain of ice when you don't need it. Speaking of staying cool, Govee Life also has a Matter compatible tower fan. If you watched my smart home tour earlier this year, you might remember that when I was looking for a fan for my office, I bought one of these and it's been phenomenal. I have an automation that when my office door opens, the fan turns on, and then when my office door closes, it turns off again. You can also control all the details of the fan, like direction, oscillation, and fan speed inside of Apple Home, which is super nice. If you're watching this video around Prime Day, the Govee Life 717D ice maker is on sale for 31% off, down to $124.99 in the US, and the Govee Life tower fan is 34% off, down to $118.99 in the US. To support the channel and learn more about these Govee products, check out the links at the top of the description. Thanks again to Govee for sponsoring this video. All right, so moving on to LED lights in cabinets. This makes so much practical sense in a lot of cabinets that can be dark. Then if you put some automatic lighting in there, you can easily see what's in the cabinet. It does take a little bit of time, depending on the furniture, to find the right way and place to put light strips. If you watch my recent video about my Nintendo Switch 2 setup, I ended up adding some Govee Light Strip 2 Pros to this cabinet in my living room. And then I ended up connecting it as well to an Aqara contact sensor. So when I slide the doors back, it then turns on the LED lights inside of the cabinet so you can easily see what's inside of the cabinet. And then when you close it, it turns those lights off. Now, one other level of detail which makes me really like the basic Aqara door and window sensors for this is that the small part of the door and window sensor is very simple, and it's just a round magnet inside of there. So you can take off the outer casing, as I did, and then I drilled a hole in the cabinet door and stuck that piece of magnet inside of there in just the right place. So then I mounted the big part of the door and window sensor on another side of these sliding doors. This is going to vary a lot depending on your circumstance, but if you can get some LED light strips and one of these Aqara door and window sensors, which does also require an Aqara hub or bridge, as long as you have one of those. Or I think you could do some other way to talk to Zigbee devices if you're really advanced in smart home tech there. But either way, putting automatic LED lights on your cabinets just takes them to the next level. Now, when it comes to keeping your floors clean, it's really great to come back from being away from your home for a while and just have the floors clean. And that's what a robot vacuum can do. And if you haven't upgraded your robot vacuum in a while, if I just think back to the robots I was testing 2 or 3 years ago to now, they're so much better at navigating things like carpet or doing detailed mopping of the floor right up to the edge. And I've especially been impressed recently with models from Ecovacs and Roborock, which both support Apple Home via Matter. So with the latest versions of Apple's software in iOS 18 and related releases, you can actually add your robot vacuums into Apple Home, which then allows you to coordinate them with other automations. For example, if I have my home security system in Apple Home and that arms away, then I could have my robot vacuum go and clean the dining room or clean the entire first floor. You can also easily use your HomePods or other ways you command your Apple Smart Home to talk to your vacuums. As part of their WWDC announcements this year, Apple quietly confirmed that next year's version of macOS, which will probably be macOS 27, will not support their time capsule hardware. So if you remember from back in the day, you could get an Apple Airport, a special one called a time capsule, and that had a hard drive built into it, and you could use that to back up your Macs wirelessly on your network for time machines. So then if something happened to your Mac, you could quickly, or maybe not always that quickly, but restore from your backup so you have all your files and settings and apps ready to go. And Time Machine's great, but having to manually connect a hard drive every time your laptop is at your desk is kind of shaky, and good luck getting all of your family who has Macs to do the same thing. So a lot of you guys out there I know have the Ubiquiti system to power your home network, maybe your home video surveillance system. And earlier this year, I talked about the UNAS Pro. And I think if you're into Ubiquiti products, the UNAS Pro is the natural choice for getting a network attached storage device that also supports Apple's Time Machine. It has some really cool features where if you install Ubiquiti's Unify Identity app on your Mac, it then can log you in and auto connect to those drives on your UNAS Pro just simply by being on your home network. So you not only have easy access to your time machine by just having that taken care of in the background, just like you would have with an old time capsule, but you also have access to these network attached storage disks, which then mount automatically to your Mac just by being at home, which is really nice. And the UNAS Pro on top of that supports 10 gigabit Ethernet. So as you're thinking about maybe moving off of an old time capsule or just getting a better setup for time machine backups across the Macs in your home, check out the UNAS Pro. Number 6 on my list is something that's really important for guarding maybe that one room in your home where you keep some valuables, or just other places where you might want to have some added security inside of your home, but manually locking and unlocking doors would probably be too much friction, too much of a pain to actually do anything about it. So the Thorbolt Mark I, I think, is a really good interior latch lock. So you can actually technically use this on an outside door as well, but I find because of its small size, it works great for places like the door to my office. And one of the key features that the Thorbolt Mark I has that other latch locks I've tried don't have is the ability in the settings in the Sleek Point app, which is the company that makes the Thorbolt Mark I, you can set it to not auto lock. So a lot of these latch locks assume you want it locked most of the time, so the second you close the door, it's going to lock. And that might be great for certain scenarios, but there are plenty of other cases where you really only want it locked when maybe you're away from home, or even just when you're on a long trip away from home, or any number of other circumstances, maybe just at night. So I find the Thorbolt Mark I to be a nice balance of security with auto locking, but also options to customize that. It also has a keypad on the front to enter a PIN code, as well as a fingerprint sensor. You can set up your fingerprint inside of the Sleek Point app. app. No Apple Home Key support here, but otherwise just a really great smart lock that works with Apple Home and a nice way to make that specific room in your home a little more secure. Number 7 on my list is getting a TV that supports Apple HomeKit. When this first came out, it was really rare and it was a really big deal that, oh, these new TVs support Apple HomeKit. And this is different than supporting Apple AirPlay. You'll see this in usually some of the smart home details about the TV or the different smart home platforms it supports. And it allows you to control the power of your TV as well as what the input is set to. And this can make it great to control your TV along with the lighting and other things in your room with some smart home automation. So you could have a button that controls your TV right there in your living room, or any number of other sensors or things to make your TV do just what you want it to do at that particular time. Could just be as simple as a command to your HomePods. And I recently tried the Hisense U8, the 2025 model. It's Apple's HomeKit as well as Apple AirPlay, and it also works with Google Home and Amazon Alexa. I've also just been really impressed with the picture quality for the money. So whether you get the Hisense U8, which I have, or another TV, getting one with HomeKit built in is a big advantage. And I also find if you're able to run Ethernet to your television, I think that makes the HomeKit TV system respond much faster. A lot of times the Wi-Fi connection on these TVs can be kind of flaky, especially if it's been sitting off for a long time. But the Ethernet always works. Number 8 on my list is, well, you might have some nice smart speakers in your home. What about something you could have in your home but also take to your backyard or take on your vacation to the beach? And that's where the Sonos Move 2 comes in. I find this to be a great speaker in our kitchen. It sounds great, but then we can also take it to the backyard, the front yard, wherever we want to have music that's in range of our Wi-Fi. And in that case, it works just like any other Sonos speaker. And it even supports Apple AirPlay. But then if I take it away from home, then it also works as a Bluetooth speaker. And of course, it supports Sonos's own voice assistant as well as Amazon's. So you got some options there to control your smart home, albeit not with Apple stuff. I still think it's a really versatile speaker and definitely one to consider as you're looking at your smart home tech for the summer. Now, I talked about the Thorbolt Mark I earlier, but if you're looking for a deadbolt retrofit lock, there's a new one here in the US from Nuki, which I think is almost perfect. And you can learn more about that right here. Also, thanks so much to Govee for sponsoring. Check out their links at the top of the description, and I'll see you in the next video.